Buy more. Buy
very
more.
small FEG, another. So instead of trading a
Finally, man. Buy more. Buy
very
more.
small FEG,
Buy more.
another.
Buy more. Let's announce it. Everybody hop in. Okay, so let me check something real quick, guys. Hope everybody is doing well. Everybody came through. Thank you for the hearts, my brother, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, my man. And yeah, guys, everybody enjoyed it. We got 3 guys watching. How's everybody been doing lately? You know, we hit a couple of TPs yesterday. Yesterday was a great day. Whole week was a great one. Like no losses this week, I think. I think at least. Today we're going to do something a bit interesting. We are going to journal the trades together. I'm going to repeat that a couple of times until more people joined, so everybody knows what's up. Buy more. Buy more. That was a joke of yesterday. I'm telling you guys, I have this humor. I am going to laugh at shit for months until it's not funny for me anymore. Buy more. Buy. Okay. People are gonna start leaving if I'm just going to say that shit the entire time. Buy more. Buy more. 10 people watching, you know, live streams are going faster and faster. 10 people, we only had like after an hour of streaming at our peak time. Like now, like 2 minutes, 10 people watching. Really appreciate that, guys. Everybody who's tuning in, make sure to leave a like. I've updated disclaimer a little bit. You see, you know, it's like a little bit more simple and not just like so blocky. We just have the face cam, we have that shit, and yeah. I might make it even a little bit smaller just so you can, I mean, you can already see the pair. Everybody should be able to see the pair. USD, CHF, yeah. That's fine. It's just a little bit smaller. That's fine. We're gonna be doing the analysis in just a bit. Just one small little moment. We're going to do it when everybody is going to buy more. Buy more. Then we're gonna be doing it, you know? Because everybody needs to buy more. Buy more. Buy more. Okay, anyways. We're going to do analysis. This was like not yesterday's trade, but a couple of days ago. We're going to remove all of that couple of stuff. We're going to go into the daily time frame. We're going to start at Euro CHF. Okay, guys, like type in so I actually know that you're there. Ghostwheel is there. Ghostwheel, you want to join the stream in Discord? Let me know how you feel about that. 11 people watching. Nice, guys. Ghostwheel, let me know. You want to join? Smash that like button, man. Smash it to the ground. So there's nothing left no more. Okay, so I guess you don't feel like joining today at least, so I'm gonna just start with the shit. Here, bro, no technical difficulty. Oh, nice, man. What's good, Roger? Alright, goes with saying already to bed. Alright. So, yeah, today, I mean, I always have technical issues. Like, starting the stream also took like 2 to 3 times. I have no idea why. I'm always doing the same stuff, and it's just only working on the 3rd time. But anyways, like, here we are. On your CHF. I'm gonna actually leave it up to you. Buy more. Okay, jokes aside, like, you can still join a joke in the chat, of course, but I'm gonna do the announcements real quick. I'm gonna leave that up to you, everybody that has been watching the streams and everything and so on. Why are we not going to take a trade on your CHF today? Just write that in the chat, and then by the end, I am going to say why and reveal the reason. But for right now, we are going to go to Euro GBP and do like every other day, basically. So on Euro GBP, we're not going to. Okay, let me quickly show it. Everybody that has not tuned in recently, this was. No, we didn't take that one. This was just like a test one. We did not participate in this one. But it's an option to actually now participate on it, but I'm still like not too eager. But this is actually the reason why we didn't participate. I told you, like, only this certain amount is gifted to you. Let me do it in green. Like, for anybody that doesn't believe, I can also show you the my trade history in just a bit. So this is gifted. This is everything that we have to push lower. Has not happened yet, and you know, it probably, most likely, it is still going to go on the downside to it or take profit. That is probably going to happen, but as of right now, not really interested in that. Okay, so hang on. So your GBP is not going to be a trade for us today, right? There's like an opportunity to trade lower, but we also have a no weak candle. There's just a lot of reasons on why not to take this trade at all today. Okay, so no trade. Let's go to AUD CHF daily time frame. Let me show you for everybody that has not tuned in yet. We have hit a take profit on this one. Let's go to the daily time frame. We want to ask ourselves, are we going for the previous day low or for the previous day high? Notice this candle has not taken out its previous high, but also not its previous low. So the likelihood of that happening another time is very slim. We are most certainly going to go for either high or the low. This pair specifically, probably we are going to go for the low, but I count that as a 50-50 scenario. So I'm like not willing to trade it as like my first choice. For anybody that's watching the stream, this is not going to be a choice of trading for today. Like, as always, I might like take it as a riskier position, but for you, don't take this trade, okay? So AUD USD, how's that looking like? We've already taken out the previous day low, so unfortunately we cannot take a trade on this entire pair. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the 1 hour, just so everybody knows. We have also taken that trade. I'm gonna remove everything. AUD and ZD. R123, man. So that's like Robo Kelly. My best 2 pairs for today: AUD CAD, we in premium plus established movement to down plus FUG below. Okay. I'm gonna check that out real quick. So then we had AUD and ZD. Let's also take profit hit for everybody that didn't join yesterday. We're going to remove it. Let's go to the daily time frame and ask ourselves, are we going for the previous day high, previous day low? This entire candle is a 50-50 scenario, so we're not going to participate in that one either. Okay, so also nothing that we should worry about. Let's go to the daily. Have we taken out the previous day low or high? Yes, previous day low has already been taken out, so it's also no trade for us. NZD cap. Do I have AUD CAD even selected? Forgot to have it in my watch list. Here, AUD CAD. So this was no trade. NZD CAD. Are we going for the previous day low or previous day high? Based off logic, based off our daily analysis and all of that, we are most certainly going to go for the previous day low and not for the previous day high, because this is going to be your established movement, this candle specifically. But since we have already been trading lower, all of this is also going to basically contribute to the established movement to trade into the previous day low. Now, I don't favor this too much because there's a lot of liquidity higher. These are all going to be relative equal highs. Anx was asking, what app do you use to over leverage? I don't use an app, brother. I use a broker. Because we still have this price action gap which we want to trade into, and that's like not something that I like. But let me see how the position will be looking like if we are willing to take a trade. So this is how we're looking like, and also out of intuition, I don't like how this is looking like. It's at a lot of like just a couple of seconds. So we don't have to overshoot our previous day high by too much, but intuition is just not telling me that we should take this trade. Let me see on the 4 hour time frame. No, man, we're not going to take this trade. Now, this is also just a little bit intuition, but out of logical sense, we have traded into this FEG, and there is potential to just reverse out of that FEG, and we're not going to trade into that. There is a potential that this low is going to be the last low created before we're going to go for higher liquidity up in here. Out of intuition, I'm not going to take this trade. USD CHF, we're going for the previous day high or for the previous day low. Let me check, have we traded into the previous day high yet? We did already trade into the previous day high. So once again, why is the reason why we're not going to trade USCHF today? Everybody who has been in the live streams and whatnot knows why, or should know why by now. But once again, just look at USCHF. I'm having it here right now, and tell me why we're not going to take a trade on that one. I've already explained it for the previous pairs, but just let me know on this one. So USDCHF, how's that looking like? Are we trading into the previous? Oh, we have already traded into the previous day high. Never mind. GBP USD. Oh, let me check AUD CAD first. Are we trading into the previous day low, previous day high? Robert Kelly was already suggesting that. And I do, in fact, think there's an opportunity for us. Let me check how the position will be looking like approximately. Okay, so we don't have to overshoot our take profit. That's something that I like about this trade. Massive FEG in here. And also a no-way candle. Yeah, it's like kind of a mad day. Well, we had also a fire week so far. We would not be willing to give out our profits that easily. Now, of course, if like a setup appears, if it's a high quality setup, like it doesn't matter. I'm not going to rush myself just because the 0 EM candle is about to hit, because you need to take an actual decision. And if you're going to basically miss the trade, it's also no problem, because you might be saying, well, then start the stream earlier. Yes, but I need the closest sort of price possible to the 0 EM candle, right? That's why I rarely do analysis before that. I like to wait for as close as possible to the 0 EM candle. And also just I'm explaining that all of the things to you, which also takes a little bit more time overall. But GBP USD is looking fire. We have not traded into the previous day low. Probably just going to stick to GBP USD and not AUD CAD, because I can confidently say we are going to trade into the snowy candle first, and only then you can expect it to move lower. Now, of course, like as always, you can just trade lower from now on, and then you have lost it, like not lost a trade, but you have missed a trade. But this is just how it goes. So we want to trade into the previous day low. Let me look at the weekly real quick. So the weekly is just like a whole mess. But good thing is we have already traded into one of our previous day highs, previous day lows. So there's like not going to be potential, or how do I say this? There's like now potential to trade one more time into the previous day high, especially because this is a Friday, right? And then the next weekly open, right, is probably going to go for its low, not for its high. Now, yes, you have these gaps in here, but this is just weird price action as a whole. Let me look at AUD CAD real quick. No, where was it? Yeah, AUD CAD. AUD CAD. USD CHF. Yeah, we probably want to trade onto the downside. Let me see on the 4 hour time frame. Yeah, we have this entire FEG, which there is potential to trade into. And also this 4 hour candle has potential to just close bullish. The 4-hour candle is going to go for 1 more hour, so likelihood of us basically, and there's also like a gap. I like this trade overall. I've seen also from backtesting sessions, if you have a no-way candle at the bottom of something, it becomes a little bit less likely to play out. And you might be saying, well, why are you still waiting to take the trade? Because the entire analysis just aligned. We are going lower and lower. The bias is basically confirmed. And there's more of a rare occurrence. I have just seen it a couple of times. Like, just because it makes it high probability that it's not going to work out, it doesn't mean that it's like overall low probability. You can follow me there, right? So that's like one thing. And I think that we are going to trade into the 4-hour gap first, and then from there on we can trade lower. Let me see how the original position will be looking like. The original position will be looking like that. And I am actually going to extend the entire take profit all the way to that low. Stop loss can remain at this candle high. It's actually going to be a good risk to reward, especially if we're willing to put it in here. But I'm not really sure if I'm willing to do that. Hang on, let me see. 1 hour time frame. Premium to discount. Like there's not that much room to play into the premium to discount, right? It is basically our headroom that we're making in here when we're trading into the equilibrium. Still like a good amount, but not something you would prefer. I mean, it's just a Friday, I guess. Robo Kelly, Robo 123 man was saying GBP USD was my second pair too. Nice, man. It's great stuff. Yeah, there is still potential to trade lower too. Like, I have to think about this. But I have sort of an unwritten rule. If I'm thinking too much about the trade, whether or not to take it, then I already know that it's not that high probability. So for today, I don't really recommend anybody to follow me. Like, of course, there's still going to be people that are going to be following me anyways, right? There's always going to be that. But just out of my advice, sort of, like, there's no financial advice by any means. But if you were to ask me, you know, for today, rather don't follow any trades. I'm still probably going to take this one at least. Yeah, this is kind of a bummer. This would be one of those situations where I would like to take a small entry, you know? Taniazi negative RR. Yes, brother, we're only trading negative RR in here. Go to my YouTube channel, like, especially the latest video. It's going to explain you everything about it. It's like a really good video. And yeah, it is going to explain to you how everybody that is trading my strategy is achieving at a minimum a 85% win rate, minimum. But like, having a 95% win rate is also like nothing uncommon to us, nothing too foreign. Yeah, man. Let me check for like the calendar real quick. For this pair, for this like strategy, since I've updated and stuff, there's not going to be mattering too much in terms of news. But in situations like these, I like to have, okay, GBP is going to hit news today. Hang on, I'm gonna show it to you guys. 1 second. Here. So GBP is going to have news at 8 a.m. CAD is also going to have news. So there is going to be potential that also AUD CAD is going to play out anyways. Right? But at the same time, the problem with GBP USD is that, as I've told you previously, we have this no-way candle. And since we have just like weird ass price action going on to the weekly time frame, there is potential to just trade onto the upside, so to fill out these gaps. Well, I actually don't think that this could happen by Friday alone at least, but by like next week, the week after that, that type of stuff. But like, Like all in all, this like not something that I would like to trade him. Like I'm still going to take a decision in just a bit, going to think about it. But once again, this is my unwritten rule. If I'm thinking too much about the trade, then I already know this is not something that I would love to trade. Compare it to the streams that we had yesterday, the day after, the day before yesterday, like the entire week. You know, boom, 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 and we took like 2 to 3 trades, or like 1 trade. And this day, you know, I'm not so certain. That's already like that mindset. That mindset, that makes it less probability. You have to understand that when you're doing analysis, the moment you start doubting your trades, the moment you start doubting the analysis, I mean, if you're doubting the analysis every single day, then like there's something fundamentally wrong. But if you're usually doing something very fast and then all of a sudden I'm not so fast anymore, then there's a reason for that. Okay. So imagine we would have taken that trade from the original position. We would already be like 1/4 into a drawdown. But also out of intuition, when something goes like heavily, like that fast into something, like into a drawdown, you might as well just continue there. Guys, once again, go to your CHF and tell me why we're not going to take a trade on your CHF, man. Like, are you watching and want to learn, or are you watching and you're just watching for no reason? Like, there has to be some kind of value that you're getting out of here. Either if it's going to be entertainment, you know, if it's going to be like actual education, that's what most people join for, or whatever it's going to be at the end of the day. Yeah. People are just leaving, like, they don't, like, I'm out here explaining why not to take the trade, people are leaving. When I'm taking trades, that's only when people are here. Because unfortunately, people are just mindless idiots a lot of the times. Like, when you're going to try this by yourself, and, oh man, the strategy's not working, I don't know when to avoid bad trading days, because you're not watching, you're not listening to what I'm telling you, man, we're not supposed to take a trade today, or like tomorrow, or whatever, right? If I had 2 to 3 positions open right now, we had like 12 people watching right now, but only 4 people are serious about actually learning why we're not going to take a trade. Like, I just did this, you know, as a little bit of a speed run. You know, here we're not going to take this one, this one, this one, but I'm going to do the full analysis and explain further in depth on why not to take a trade. So Ghostwell was saying weekly USCHF. Look, so that is part of the reason, but the actual reason is if you go to the daily time frame. Look, we have already taken out the previous day high, right? I'm just going to reveal it because you were the only guy participating in my quest. We have already taken out the previous day high, and remember, like in the Notion, as of like the cheat sheet in the mentorship, if the previous day high or low has been taken out before 0 a.m., then you can't take a trade. Okay. So there was also AUD CAD. Let me watch it down real quick. Oh, this would have hit a take profit already, like crazy, right? It's interesting. This would be the sort of trade where I would like to take a mini position in. Like GBP USD, this would be the exact same scenario, but we just can't take a mini position on that account. The lowest we can go is 0.01 lots. If this account would be like at least 200 or 100 at least, then we would be taking a 0.01 lot size, and we wouldn't have to risk like 30% of the entire account. We're going to go to C Trader and add GBP USD so you really get what I mean. GBP USD. Okay. And let's just say we're taking 0.01 lots. And our stop loss is going to, yeah, like 50. We're going to lose $5. So that's 25% already, like lost. No, not even 25. We're already at like 31. I'm always referring it back to if we had $20. So that's like going to be like 15% or something like that. But I'm not like willing to risk that. Okay. especially because of if you're seeing at this right now, for some reason it's just showing it a little bit more clearly because we see a little bit more on CTrader. This has a potential to have the second of its pullback, and then from there we can trade on the downside potentially. There's also as much reasons on why this is not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to participate in this trade. I'm not willing to give up the profits that we have made just for a risky trade. I think it's important to know when to take a riskier decision and when not to. Like, we are already making a little bit of profit. I think it's fine. Just not taking the trade for today. But I am going to break down for every single pair on why that is the case, so you can also learn why we're not going to take a trade, right? Because I've said it so many times. Knowing when to trade is less important than knowing not when to trade, okay? I mean, the dates when you're not going to take a trade, the reasons for that are more important. You get what I'm saying? Anyways, buy more. So for USCHF, the reason why we don't want to take a trade onto the upside is because the previous day high has already been taken out. Why does this matter? Because you have to see it this way. If I'm going to go onto the 1 hour chart, like the 1 hour time frame, right? Remember, this is going to be our previous day high. I'm going to mark it out real quick for you so everybody knows what's up, and you can also take screenshots, you know, for your documentation, whatever it's going to be. There's actually like 2 more reasons which we're going to get into, which I haven't seen yet because the previous day high had been taken out. That's already enough of a reason, but there's even more into it. If I'm going to take a position, this will be our regular position looking like. So the previous day high has already been taken out. Usually we like to trade into the previous day high or into the previous day low, because that is basically going to be your free movement for that sense. So in that case, it will be looking something like that. You see the previous day high, I'm going to mark it out in green. This will be your free movement because price is almost guaranteed going to go into the previous day high. Everything that's above that is going to be not gifted, right? You have to get a little bit lucky, or not just lucky, but also the analysis have to align for the price to move higher. So go higher into your take profit. That is the reason why I care so much about the daily time frame and why the analysis always start on the daily time frame, and then from there on I go to the 4 hour, 1 hour, and I also like to look at the weekly. Especially you will see me look at the weekly more towards the start of the weeks, right? At the start of the week I like to look at it, have like a fresh start, even the monthly time frame. But I'm only doing that like once or twice a week, that I'm looking at the weekly time frame or monthly, right? Monthly even way less, like maybe 2 times a month or so. Okay, so that's basically the logic behind that. Now the previous day high has already been taken out, so there's not enough gifted movement. So Niazi was saying US 30 494 46945 short. I'm taking this trade. All right, I am going to look at it in just a bit. Right, before that I'm going to explain the reasons. Now, this is just reason number 1, because this is a fundamental rule. You are never allowed to break this shitty rule that you're going to trade into a previous day high that has already been taken out. That's the very first thing. The second thing is going to be, as you can see, we have a no wick candle in here, no wick candle number 2, no wick number 1, no wick number 2. These candle wicks like to be traded back into. Like, now you might be saying or asking to me, why is that the case? I don't know what is the case. I just know that that happens a lot of the times, okay? You don't even have to know all of that. Now, granted, if you're going to look at this entire position, even if we are going to trade into the second no wick candle, right? So this one basically, there's still going to be enough movement that the price would have to move against us in order for the stop loss to get hit, right? So that is right. But I mean, first of all, the previous day high has been taken out, so no trade at all anyways. But that is just additional information why I'm not willing to take this trade, okay? And we also had significant movement onto the upside. Candle number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row, a bullish candle. Now, of course, we already had a bearish candle onto the downside, so that basically resets it. Problem is just that we had too much movement onto the upside without taking fuel of the opposite direction. So what I like to see is at least, at the very minimum, these no wicks candle to be taken out, and then from there on, you can expect a move on to the upside. Okay, this is just everything that is on top of the previous day high that we're not going to trade today. Okay, so Niazi, I am going to look at US 30 in just a bit. Okay, so here we are at Euro GBP. Next trade. This is going to be the daily time frame, and on this pair, this could even be potentially a trade onto the upside, and the likelihood of that working out is also quite high. But this is once again more of a riskier scenario, right? But let's just go over it why it's not a high probability trade, and why everybody that is following all of the trades that I'm taking in the streams, which once again, I just have to say that just to be secure, no financial advice, guys. But everybody that's following, this is specifically, you should even less follow that one, okay? So you see, we have the previous day high, we have the previous day low. Where are we more likely to trade? Just tell us me out of intuition. You just can't tell. If I'm just going to show you, if I'm just going to put it like this, hang on. I want you to really understand this principle. Look at the chart like so. You have no context. Now, of course, you need context in order to build a framework, but this is just for demonstrational purposes, okay? Look at this entire formation without any context, right? Everything that happened to the left, you don't know. You don't know, simply as that. We are going for the high or for the low. You can't tell because this entire candle is showing you indecisiveness. We are pretty far away from the high. We are pretty far away from the low. But there's still a reason why we're probably going to trade onto the upside, because I just wanted to show you the principle of the daily time frame, of the daily logic. But of course, context is always going to play a role. Right? So I just had to simplify it first. Now we can do it a little bit more advanced. We have this entire FEG in here. FEG, daily time frame. And FEG is an imbalance. Imbalances like to get traded back into. No matter how you twist it, we are going to trade into these imbalances. We're going to go into the 4-hour time frame. Let's further look at that. What can you see in here? These are going to be your internal relative equal lows. Hang on. Okay, so I have to readjust the FEG real quick just so it's perfect. Okay. So here we are on the... And why is it not locking into this line in here? Okay, so we have basically the relative equal highs. This is going to be internal relative equal highs. This is going to be external relative equal highs. I am going to mark it out. So this is going to be your external relative equal highs. This is going to be your internal relative equal highs. Why does this matter? Because you want to have as much liquidity building up to a specific point as possible. Okay. Now we already have one reason, that's going to be the daily FEG. Second reason, now once again, don't take this trade because the daily bias doesn't align. That's just as an example, and I might even take this trade on the high risk account, right? But for right now, this is not something as an example to take a trade. This is just pure analysis of confirmation that could be making the trade to work out if you're willing to take it. But once again, keep that in mind. So we have the FEG that is aligning pretty well. We also have the relative equal highs, which are external and also internal. The reason why you want internal and external is because you want as much liquidity building up as possible. Because if you have just those liquidity points, that's just going to be like one liquidity point that the price has built up, right? But then also, what do we have? So we already have 3 reasons, guys. We have this liquidity being taken out. So now there is actually a reason, because we have taken out fuel. So basically all of this, right? I like to call it fuel, to now go on to the opposite direction. Now, for anybody that has maybe just came in new, right, and or just doesn't know about me, but for anybody that has been watching the streams for like quite significant of time, and like just 5 minutes ago, come on man, 5 or 10 minutes ago, I have just told it to you. Look at this candle, pay attention to how it's looking like. Okay, so usually, like by idea, I would be saying type into the chat, but since no motherfucker in here is active enough to actually do that, I'm just going to put it out, right? I'm just going to say it. No way candles like to be traded back into. So that's another information that probably we are going to trade onto the upside, because we're also have all of the additional information that we already have out of the market. If taught it like so many different times, you need an entire framework. It is not just going to be like a simple strategy, like just one candle or just one concept or just, right? There is an entire framework to be built off before you're going to take a trade. Get this into your mind. This is what separates a profitable from an unprofitable trader. The unprofitable trader just believes that you need one or two concepts and that's it. And yes, you might only use one or two concepts, but they're going to repeat themselves the lower you go into the time frames, and that is going to build up your entire framework. It's not just only going to be one confirmation, it needs to be in multiple different confirmations until you're actually going to take decisions. Out of every single stream that I've done so far, have you ever seen me taking a trade? Unless I have specifically said this is going to be a high risk trade, right? And those trades, that does not count. We're only talking about high quality trades. Have you ever seen me taking a trade that was not high quality and it only had one confirmation? That has never happened so far and will also never happen. I'm only going to take, once again, speaking of high probability trades, when they have multiple confirmations going on. That's when I'm going to take a trade. Okay? So, with that being said, there is this no way candle, which we like to trade into. Now, this candle has already taken out this previous day low. So probably this candle is also going to close like that. Because if you're going to think of it of relative to time, right? I am going to zoom in real quick. So you see this entire candle. This is the candle that we're focusing on right now. And you also see the time. We're 36 minutes into this entire candle basically. And basically you're telling the candle, I am going to give you like running up to 35 minutes. I'm going to give you 35 minutes to reverse and go for the previous, to reverse and basically create a wick in here. But also once the candle is already getting that close, it will also take out the previous day high. Think of that likelihood. Out of every single candle you have seen so far, does that happen a lot? Like, this is, how do I say this? Everybody that has tuned into the stream, this is the most valuable stream that I've shown so far. Me showing the trades, you making money, this is great shit. This is the information, this is the logical standpoint. And not to glaze myself, but I don't understand how people are missing this. This is just so logical thinking in my opinion. Or maybe it's just about pattern recognition. Maybe there is just something about the charts that I see and other people don't see. But I really want you to also see it. This is the reason why it is less likely that the candle is going to reverse right now. Because once again, you're giving the candle 35 minutes to basically do a very unlikely thing. Give the candle 1 day and then yes, this could be more likely to play out because you're giving it 24 candles, 24 hours to do that same shit. But that doesn't apply to the scenario because we're just talking about one single candle. And that one candle, once it's printing, it's over. It is going to stay like that for the rest of our lives in that sense. For eternity. Okay? So this entire candle is not going to be the candle, or with a very low probability that we are going to trade into its open high, right? And create a wick onto the upside. It will be quite funny if this is actually the thing that is going to happen, right? Because this is why I'm also going to include and say these things. You can have such good analysis and such good logic points, but the likelihood is still going to depend on the market, right? You can only do so much under the charts until you're actually going to take a trade and whatnot, right? So this can still happen, but it has a very low probability. Just go check this out yourself, guys. Everybody who's watching right now, go check this shit out yourself. You'll see the exact same stuff that I'm telling you right now. Anyways, after looking at a almost blank screen the entire time and talking for 10 minutes, I hope you really got that into your head. So now we're going to drop onto this 1 hour time frame. See, that's when we're doing like very high quality analysis, right? Because you see how much time I'm taking just to analyze this entire pair. And I know people don't like a lot of talking, but this is just the information that I'm trying to give you when doing all of these analysis in that sense. On the 1 hour time frame, I don't even have to do something like that where we're having millions of different candles we're looking onto the chart. Focus on just something that is very recently happening. There's a lot of information that you can already base off this thing alone. And it's basically going to be the same logic in that sense. So this entire candle, hang on, put it like this. Can you see it? Yeah. Hang on. Put it like this. This entire candle on the 4-hour time frame. So I'm talking about this one. On the 4-hour time frame, this is the candle that is currently looking like that. Okay? So this is just on the 1-hour time frame. Now look at this candle specifically. This is the current candle that's right in here. Where is it more likely to go when it's going to close? So remember, the 4-hour candle is about to close in 1 hour. So when the current candle, this one in here, is going to close, the 4-hour candle is also going to close. I've just told you, for the 4-hour candle to do a 180 on you is pretty unlikely. We're not going to trade into this candle within 35 minutes. You see these entire candles, this is a lifespan. This entire thing is the lifespan of the 4-hour candle. We have already done so much work in that 4-hour candle in itself. Keep also in mind the time, because right now there's just not a lot of volatility going on. Okay? So the next candle, where is it more likely to go? The reason why I'm telling you this and why it's so important, because this is basically what I also do on the daily chart. People asking me, why are you so well at identifying the daily chart? Why are you so well at avoiding the bad trading days? This is the same principle that I'm doing. It's just that some phenomenons, like the no-wick candle, you don't see as often on the daily chart as of the 1-hour chart. Because in a certain day, you have 24 chances, so 24 hours, 24 candles, to have a no-wick candle. But on the daily chart, it takes 24 hours to have one chance to have a no-wick candle. You get what I mean? So the next candle, where's it going to go? Are we going for the previous candle, not previous day, previous candle low, or are we going for the previous candle high? If it's not obvious by now, then I'm the wrong teacher, or I'm just not good enough at teaching you. This is the easiest way that I can explain it to you. We are probably going to go for the previous candle low, not for the previous candle high. Pretty logical, right? Now also, we have this entire liquidity point, which this was our fuel to now go on to the upside. This is great shit. This is what we like. Problem is just that as of right now, there's almost guaranteed going to be movement onto the downside if we're willing to take a trade onto the upside. Even though there is confirmation, right? Remember, we have still the FEG daily, the FEG, the external relative highs, and also the internal relative highs. There is a lot of reasons to trade on the upside. But for the very, very short term, this might even be like a scalping strategy. Like, I'm being for real in here. Like, I'm not going to scalp. I'm also not going to develop a scalping strategy out of this stuff alone. And there's like multiple reasons for that. I don't like scalping in that sense. I think it's way too much time consuming. But that's like a different story. As of right now, we are going to trade onto the previous candle low. And we're also going to target this previous candle low. Why? Because it's just already so nearby compared to this candle low. Okay? So all in all, you might be saying, okay, we have like all of this different information. What do you want to tell with us? What do you want to tell us by that? Are we going for the previous? Are we going to take a trade or not? No, we're not going to take a trade, right? Like people expect like after having all of these different confirmations, and this is basically also on purpose. I have shown you like a very great framework, and I've named you like 100 different reasons and confirmation points to trade onto the upside. Yet this one reason is me preventing me from taking a trade onto the upside. This is exactly how I'm avoiding the bad trading days. Okay? And it's not going to be the same for every single day. Sometimes you will have scenarios where it's more obvious. Sometimes you are going to have scenarios where it's less obvious, right? It is always going to be dependent on the current price action that you're having. Once again, sometimes the scenarios will just be the same and it's going to be easy for me. Well, this was just like the 3rd of May 2024. Remember, guys, when we have taken that on the stream, it's the same scenario as on that day. Just as an example. But a lot of the times it is not going to be the same scenario because it's the entire framework. Charts never look the exact same as they did yesterday. There's never a point in time where it has looked exactly the same. There's always going to be a little bit of different discretion and also a little bit of minor adjustments that are not the same as the day before, I don't know, your goldfish died. Okay? This was your GBP only. Like, we're not done yet, guys. AUD CHF. Let's go into the daily time frame. Alright. Are we going for the previous day high? And this is basically what I always ask myself. Are we going for the previous day high or are we going for the previous day low? This is basically the same framework that we have just talked about, but here it's a little bit more obvious and there's also different, a little bit of a different twist to it. Okay. So I want you to look at this chart and just think about it yourself based on what I've just explained to you on Euro GBP. Like, come on, guys. Are you listening? Are you willing to learn what I'm telling you in these live streams? Or are you really just watching for no reason? Type into the chat whatever it is. Or type it into the Discord. It doesn't even have to be in the chat. Or just type it in for yourself. Think about it. Like, try to understand it for yourself. Why are we not going to take a trade on this specific day? Name me every single reason in detail. No matter if it's right or wrong. Just tell it to me. If you're really serious about learning this. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of time doing that. Okay, so now we are. Robo Kelly was saying 50% candle. 50% candle. Yes, like that is the very first thing. Okay, you can only see like the daily time frame. Let's go over this in more detail. This is what most people also just aren't going to miss. What we have here. Hang on. See, pay attention to this entire candle. Fuck the candle that is in here right now. I'm going to just completely, okay, remove it. Pay attention to the previous day high and previous day low. I've told you in countless of videos, everybody that has been watching the chart, the daily time frame, 80% of the times, maybe even more. I can't tell you like the exact chance as of like off the top of my head. We're going for the previous day high or previous day low. And there's 4 scenarios. Either we're going to go for the previous day low, scenario number 1. Either we're going to go for the previous day high, scenario number 2. Either we're going to go for both the previous day high and the previous day low, scenario number 3. Or it's going to be the 4th scenario, which is that we're having right now in here. So we have not taken out the previous day high. Okay? Not taking out the previous day high, not taking out the previous day low. This is the 4th scenario. There's only these 4 scenarios. Right? There's no other chance for another scenario to happen. You're like every single day you're betting on these 4 scenarios basically in that sense. Which if the previous day high and the previous day low gets taken out, then you can still basically hit the take profit because we're not always extending or take profit to the previous day high and previous day low, but it's like a different scenario for now. Okay? So we have scenario number 4, we have not taken the previous day high, also not previous day low. So the next candle, okay, the likelihood of it's doing the same bullshit on you again is extremely, extremely low. We're not going to do that like another time. You know, there has been, you know, sometimes I'm saying this has never happened in the history of charts in that sense. But this is the thing, this has already happened. That we had like 2 times in a row, not trading into the previous day high and also not into the previous day low. But this happens more so when the very first candle, so this one, was very large. The second candle, this first, the second was very large, and then the third candle was also just not as large. So the very first candle has to be extremely large for this scenario to happen. So it's not going to happen this time. Okay? Now there is reasons to still take a trade onto the downside, which is going to be this FEG. This is why I said it's a very similar situation that we had last time. Now, why is it so important that neither the previous day high, neither the previous day low has been taken out? Now, this is a 50-50 candle no matter how you do it, right? This is like right from the start, that's why we're not going to take a trade. It's 50, 50, let's just put it like that, candle. But also, if the previous day high, but also not the previous day low has been taken out, that means that neither side of liquidity has been taken out. And I hope in that point it's going to make click for you, okay? So if we're going to go into the 4-hour time frame, we can see, now yes, we have relative lows, relative highs, I mean. But it means that basically there was not liquidity being taken out, so we would have to see something like that. And then from here on lower, right? So then we had, at least in the back of our mind, in the back of our head, we had the sort of thinking, okay, liquidity had been taken out. And now is the time to go to the opposite direction because we have fuel to basically sustain that move. Think about it this way. Price is not just moving randomly higher and higher and higher. It is taking out fuel by taking out liquidity. And then from there on, it's going to go to the original direction. So in a theoretical sense, like just real quick, for everybody that's watching new or whatever, this is going to look something like that. Okay, so if we're in the uptrend, we're making higher highs, higher lows, as you can see. We need to take out fuel of the opposite side, so basically this liquidity being taken out, and only then we can continue higher with these relative equal highs. And you basically already see the pattern that we're trading on a day-to-day basis. This is going to be your previous day high, right? This is also going to be your relative equal highs. Okay, this is getting very messy, right? And then potentially you have been coming from a massive downtrend, okay? So then also you're going to mark out the equilibrium from this high to this low. It's going to be equilibrium. Then you want to trade onto the upside in here, right? It's going to be your take profit. I've done like a very detailed video. The latest video that I've done, everybody that's watching new, this is going to explain everything that I've just said, but just very simplified and organized because it's just live stream. I'm just like putting out every information that I can give you right now, right? Go watch it after the stream. So in here, this is basically the same scenario. Liquidity, or the opposite scenario. Sorry, man. The previous, we have not taken out liquidity, I mean. So probably we're also not going to trade onto the downside. Or if we're going to trade onto the downside, then it's not a sustained move. Like, get that into your mind. The move is not sustained by enough liquidity to trade lower. Now we're going to drop onto the, I guess now we're going to drop into no time frame. Now we're going to, now we're going to drop onto the 1 hour time frame. So basically, so the 1 hour time frame is basically the same scenario that we're talking about, but just looking into more details, right? Because here you see the entire time frame, and I think we're actually on the wrong pair. Okay, so never mind. So on the 1 hour time frame, we do have relative equal lows. I do count that as relative equal lows. It is like not the cleanest relative equal lows, but it can be counted in that sense. The reason also on the 1 hour time frame, there's this massive FEG, but there's like not too much on the 1 hour time frame. Like, I'm not just going to invent some kind of reason to, okay, but then there's like X and Y, Z candle on the 1 hour time frame. Like, I just cannot see a lot of things. Like, also, this is another lesson. If there's like not too much information, or like take the information that the market is giving you, but don't force the information if there's nothing to learn about, if there's nothing that the market is giving you. For somebody else that is watching this chart, this might be looking more interesting and they have something to say about that. They be saying, you know, the only like thing that I see at least is we have this FEG, which we have already been traded back into with these candles, but there's still like what, 3/4 or like three quarters of entire price action that we have not traded into. So that means that there's still an imbalance in the market. And as always, guys, imbalances like to be traded back into. We've also taken out these relative equal lows in here, which are internally, right? So there's a reason to trade onto the upside. So we are breaking this chart down. This is the reason why I'm doing it. We're breaking this chart down. And we're having reasons on why we're trading onto the upside and also to the downside. And this is the exact problem. This is the exact problem where we're not going to take a trade. Like, get this into your mind. Because we're having 10 confirmations to trade onto the upside, because we're having 10 different confirmations to trade onto the downside, this makes it low probability. This is the reason why we're not going to take a trade. And to simplify it, this is not just for that pair. What we have just looked into was your GBP, same scenario. We had 10 different reasons on why we should take a trade onto the upside, 10 different reasons on why we shouldn't take a trade. So no trade. Simple as that. Previously, I've also said to you, I am doubting myself about every single pair that I'm seeing right now. So we're not going to take a trade on any of these pairs. So now we're going to go to AUD and ZD. Let's go to the daily time frame. And now it looks obvious, right? Okay, we're just going to trade onto the previous day high. We're already close to it. That is a very bad mindset to have to begin with, right? This is basically the same scenario. We have this 50-50 candle. And I like this example a lot because I actually hope that we're going to trade on the previous day high for this day. Although I'm not going to take a trade, I hope that it's going to happen. What is the reason for that? In the previous candles, I have shown you that probably we are going to trade into the previous candle low, like with the previous candles, right? With the AUD CHF and also your GBP, right? We're going to trade high or lower because we have an FEG. In this case, it's higher. In this case, it's lower. Okay. So for this day, I hope we're going to trade onto the upside. It's the allergy that is hitting. So for this day, I hope we are going to trade into the previous day high and not to the previous day low, because it is going to disprove everything that I've just shown you. So you know, might be saying, well, you wouldn't want to disprove your analysis, right? No, I want my analysis to be disproven because previously I've told you in this trade, probably to the downside because we have this FEG, but we're not going to take a trade because of the reasons that I've just explained to you in the last 30 minutes. So just get that idea, get the concept that I'm showing you right now. On this trade, I was telling to you, probably we are going to trade onto the upside, but I'm still not going to take a trade because of the information that I've talked about in the last 30 minutes. So in that case, it is going to disprove if we're going to trade into the previous day high in here. So right in here, it is going to disprove everything that I've said, but it's going to prove on why I did not take a trade because on that period, the analysis did not work out. You get what I'm saying? AUD CAD. This would have already hit a take profit, interestingly. Yet, I still don't regret not taking this trade. The only time where I regret taking a trade would be in a scenario where I fell asleep and there was a high probability trade. And then I just missed it. This is the only time like I hate myself for missing that trade because it's solely my mistake. But on that one, I had doubt and I just didn't want to take it. So I don't regret missing this trade. This was a great trade to miss. Okay. But let's go over it quickly. There's not too much on this pair because we've already traded into the previous day low, and it has also shown you a little bit more of a rare occurrence. Now, we have yesterday done a stream. I already noticed this stream is more so about when not to take a trade, because simply we just have no trade. Yesterday's stream, what was I telling you about? I was telling to you that we don't want to trade into the previous day high because there's already liquidity being taken out. Go watch that shit yesterday that I've explained to you. This is the exact same reason. This would have been a straight up loss. You get that? Or have we taken a trade? I don't know. Like maybe we have taken a trade, but seeing it right now, I'm pretty sure we have not taken a trade for yesterday. So this is going to be a scandal. Let me check real quick. Like maybe we have taken a trade, maybe or not. But if we have taken a trade, then definitely we have not traded into the previous day high. Because if you're going to base it off from the daily bias logic, right? I don't know if we are taking a trade. I would have to check it right now. But what I do, like 100% certain, because I never do that shit, we have never taken a trade into the previous day high if the take profit is extended by that much. This is the reason, because I have people who've been coming up to me, whether it's going to be comments, Discord, or whatever. Unprofitable traders are telling me, why are you not trading into the previous day high, man? You could have won there, right? Things like that. Because on a different day, on a different occasion, on a different whatever it's going to be, we had trades that were looking something like, let me find an example. I think USD CHF is a good example. We had trades like these. We want to trade onto the upside. So hang on. We have taken this trade. Watch the previous streams if you really want to look at these analysis. Not going to redo them another time. You're saying, why have you not traded higher into, like, I don't know, this high or potentially this high? You could have gotten so much more profit. That's the exact shitty reason why. Because we're going to go to AUD USD. Hang on, where was it? AUD CAD, I think. This would have been straight up loss just because you were so greedy. Just because you wanted to take that 0.62. Which occasionally, like, at one point in time in this entire live stream, I do believe we are going to have a little bit more of a bigger trade. You're having a lot of different trades. Eventually, you're also going to hit like a very good one, right? Like a very profitable one. But this is the exact same reason why I'm not trading into all the way into the previous day high or previous day low, unless there's logical reason behind it. In that case, there's just no logical reason behind it, because I've already explained to you earlier. We have the previous day high, which is pretty significantly far away, right? I would like to have this candle at least in here, or like minimum in here, then I want to trade higher. But look how much headroom there is to trade onto the upside. Also, we have taken out liquidity. So now there's a reason to now go to the opposite direction, which we have actually done, which is this entire FEG. Okay? Now guys, we are going to look at my account balance, and also we're going to journal the trade together in just a bit, right? So you're going to have like a whole overview about the account, and yeah, we're just going to review a little bit of stuff and talk about it. So this was AUD CAD, and also the reason why we have not taken a trade today. Do you see that candle right now? I'm going to remove everything onto the chart. Now, right now, I know it looks obvious. In hindsight, you're the best trader in the world. Why have you not traded all the downside? This and that. First of all, we are trading into this FEG, which is actually a good sign. We like to trade into the FEGs, but this candle has already traded into it. So that already makes it a little bit less likely that we're going to have a continuation. Because FEGs, I see them as imbalances. We like to trade into them, but in the right context, because you have 1, 2, 3 fairly massive candles onto the upside. So the momentum pushing higher is there. Okay. In these cases, I like to use FEGs as protection points. Now look at this candle specifically. You see it? This candle has a wick onto the upside, but barely has one. This has also been a thing for like the longest time possible. How is everybody looking at the charts on a day-to-day basis and not realizing this, that this is happening basically every single day? like almost every single day. Every single candle on the daily chart has sort of a minimum wick. You see, this is sort of the minimum wick for this pair. This is going to be pair dependent, season dependent. This is going to depend on the context as always. I cannot give you like, okay, your CHF is going to move at least 2 pips onto the downside and upside from the true daily open. I cannot give you something like that because there's always going to be an average, but there's also going to be discretion, which is going to be, okay, for this period, it's okay having less wick movement. You get what I'm saying? So this can also not be sort of automated by a robot. Just ask him and then you get the average. That's maybe like a fun thing to have. It's also maybe perhaps also not like a bad thing to have. But I think that it depends also on discretion and on current market conditions. Because an average is called an average for a reason. Okay? So this entire candle, hang on, this entire candle has barely wick onto the upside. So there is reasons to trade onto the upside. Sometimes I'm seeing these things, but I'm just not explaining it because subconsciously, it sounds weird, I know, but subconsciously, I am already seeing these things, and this is the discretion by the end of the day. This is the exact same thing. To put it into words is me trying to get you into my head. That is basically like my words are the bridge to get into my head for you. But this discretion has to be taught with time. By listening to these streams, by also you going onto the charts yourself. This entire candle is probably also going to trade onto the upside. And there's always going to be a reason or the chance that it's going to look something like that and we're not going to trade onto the upside. But once again, you're weighting the confluences, you're weighting the probabilities, right? In all of these streams, in all of these analysis, I'm never saying something like, this is 100% going to happen, right? We're always looking at the probabilities of what is going to happen and what can happen, okay? So this is the reason why we're also not going to take a trade. This is something that subconsciously is going on in my mind, but I couldn't just put it into words at that point in time, right? This is also why we're not going to take a trade on this pair. NZD USD. Previous day low has already been taken out. We do have relative lows lower. We do have liquidity lower. We like to see that. That's going to be your external liquidity, internal liquidity, external liquidity. Hang on. Yeah. Internal, external liquidity. Looks fine, right? Why not take a trade lower? First of all, previous day low has already been taken out. Before 0 a.m., no trade for you. But there's a little bit more. Go to the daily time frame. Massive price action gap. Now, I've been also saying this for a long time. If, like come on, guys. You're seeing a price action gap like that, and you'll be thinking, well, but Start Trading said that we like to trade into price action gaps. Context always matters. If the price action gap is that far away, you don't give a shit about that price action gap. It's too far away. You look at something that is nearby. Look at it from a logical standpoint. The candle would have to move something, would have to look something like that to reverse all the way higher. So the recent price action, right, the most massive candle, and not even the most massive candle for this price action, but just for that entire pair in the whole history of that pair. The highest, like the most extreme candle is this one. If you're going to take the same size, so basically from here to here, approximately, we're still not going to trade into the price gap. You see? So things only matter when they're also nearby. If, like, let's just say we had established movement onto the upside, the next candle was looking something like that, or the current candle, right? Or let's just say we want to trade the Monday. This is the Sunday, this is the Friday. We have moved higher, which is pretty unlikely, but we have like just done something unlikely. It happens. And then we're having something like that. Now the price action gap, so I'm referring about this one right now plays a role again. Because now the context aligns. Now we are trading towards that price action gap. Why are you trading? So right now, why are you trying to trade towards something that we are moving away from? Think about it logically, once again. Like, turn on your head. Okay? So now NZD CAD. Daily time frame. Previous day low, previous day high. This is the one of the only pairs where we have not taken out the previous day low before we have basically hit the 0 a.m. candle. Yet we still haven't taken a trade on that pair. How's that? First of all, that's like the very first thing that I can spot. With 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candles, and then potentially the 4 candle. No, I only start counting the candles after like 4 or 5 different candles of the same direction or color in that sense, and then that starts mattering. Now I'm not going to explain this entire price action gap because it's the same principle. We're moving away from it, so it doesn't matter as of right now. It is in the back of our mind. Like, we're not just forgetting about it. Like, think about it. Okay, there's a like chance we are going to trade onto the upside. It's 100% not going to happen today that we're going to trade all the way higher, unless some kind of war or something like that happens, and then this pair is just massively benefiting out of it. But that's not going to happen statistically. However, this entire candle formation, this is once again a little bit more of a discretion part. What I have just said to you, because people like to hop on that and say, oh, it's very discretional. What I've just taught you in the last hour or so, right? The stream has been going for 70 minutes. 80% of it was objective, and it was not mechanical, but it's pretty objective reasoning on why we're not going to take a trade, or we're going to take a trade depending on what type of decision we're talking about right now, right? So this is not as discretional as you think. 20% is discretion right now. I've given you the full framework of all of these pairs. Now this is going to be a little bit more discretional, okay? These 2 candles are showing you weakness, okay? Because of these candlesticks. This is just how I see it. A lot of the things that I'm thinking about, I'm just not telling you, not because I don't want to say it, but I just don't come to the conclusion for myself to explain it in that matter, because I already see the time frame, I already see the reasoning on why I want to take a trade or I don't want to take a trade. And then after that, I try to put it into words. Once again, my words is the bridge for you to get into my head. So in here, these candles are already showing you weakness. So probably we are showing strongness in that sense to trade onto the upside. We still have that gap. It doesn't play too much of a role. We have talked about that. We understand that, but we're keeping it in the back of our minds. Now you're talking about, well, but this entire candle has traded lower. So right now there is established movement onto the downside. Yes, there is established movement, no doubt. By definition, there is. Like, we can't neglect that. The reason why I also didn't take a trade on this pair is because if you're going to go onto the 4-hour time frame, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what do you think the next candle is going to be? Like, also bearish or what? Can be. That sometimes happens. The highest that I've ever personally experienced was, I think, 11 times in a row of just 1 candle. But that is only 1 time that I've ever seen it, and I don't even remember the pair that it was on. Right? I don't remember the instrument. This was the highest amount that I've ever seen. That you have the same color of 1 candle is extremely unlikely. It's extremely rare that you're going to have 8 times in a row. Go back to the chart. You probably have to go months back. Okay, currently we are on the 4-hour time frame, so it is going to happen a little bit more often than compared to the weekly time frame. But you have to go at least days back. Find me another instance where we had 6. Okay, 6 happens more often than like 7 or 8. We're talking about 8 right now. Tell me an instance where we have 8 candlesticks of the same color in a row. So let's check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not 8 candles though. All right. This is my point that I'm trying to make. It is unlikely that it's going to happen. And these kinds of instances don't count because the basically color candle count was resetted by this candle because this one is a bearish candle. So you're talking about like 1, 2, reset. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, reset. You get what I mean? So that's also a reason why we're not going to take a trade on this pair, right? Because the next candle has a higher likelihood. And this doesn't even have to be statistically proven. Just look at the time frame yourself. I'm telling you this. Look at the backtesting sessions. Not to sort of tell you that you're dumb or so, right? Or that I'm the best trader in the world, or whatever it's going to be. But like, how are RoboKelly was saying also price and discount already for sale? I don't know what you're referring back to specifically right now, but hang on. People are backtesting. The Streamfly is back. People are backtesting. But what are you doing while you're backtesting? You're not even seeing the very basic things when you're backtesting. Like, you're mindlessly looking at the charts without understanding the logic, without understanding the probabilities, without understanding the framework, without understanding all of these different things. Like, pay attention, man. So, GBP USD, I've already explained to you, we're not going to go in too much detail. And currently, it is doing that exact same thing that we were talking about previously. Now, I don't know if it's going to hit the stop loss or hit take profit. The only thing that I know is that I'm not willing to take a trade today. Okay? It's not about knowing. It's about weighting the confluences and the probabilities. Okay? And that's all it really is. So now we're going to journal the trade together, guys. So this is how the entire account is looking like currently. Okay. And we're going to press on history, statement, and then I like to export an XLSX. Okay, that's my preferred method. You click on statement. Okay, now on my second monitor, there's like a thing popping off. It's this thing. That's basically your statement. Okay. Now you're going to go to the best journal that has ever created, which is going to be TradeLens. It's in the description down below of all of the videos. And hang on, I'm going to share the screen with you in just a bit, in just a second. And then you're just going to journal the trades. 1 second, guys. I'm doing something right now. Now, I know I said best journal in the world. Last time, there was just like a little bit of bugging going on. Keep in mind, this shit has been done by one single person, developed. Like, I am doing some work in terms of like design and like basically trying to make it appear also good, and like a little bit of technical stuff in terms of like how it appears to somebody that is buying it. But like the coding and that type of shit, only one person is doing it, so keep that in mind. Okay. So now we have uploaded all of our trades. We are going to go to our mini flipper account. Like, this is just the way that I've named it. Hang on. And then we're going to watch the entire thing, okay? So yeah, RoboKelly, I don't know what you're talking about specifically about the premium to discount. As of right now, like there was just a lot of information. Like, just tell me at least like what pair are you talking about? Okay. So here we are. It's going to be how it's looking like currently. Now, it has for some reason not journal all of the trades because the history was just measuring out from like the month right now. I am going to do like a full broker statement in that sense. And yeah, like losing a couple of times, but also just winning a couple of times. That's just the way it goes. You don't have to win every single trade. but you're also not certainly going to lose every single trade, and the loss is also not bigger than the entire trades that you have taken. Profit factor so far, like this is going to get lower a little bit. It's also excellent right now. And yeah. That's basically that thing. So yeah, guys, this was more like of a, we're going to do a little bit of a quicker stream. There was just like no trades to be taken. Unless somebody really wants me to keep going, then yes, we can do, but chat is also not active, so I assume people are just like watching for the sake of it. And yeah. Tell me like the last couple of things that you liked about it. Smokers, like you're watching also. You're also like not timed out anymore. I just gave you 30-minute timeout. Robo Kelly was asking, I was guessing one of the main reasons why the trade was not taken on the last pair you were announcing. The last pair that I was analyzing was GBP USD. Yes, the equilibrium also plays a role. We have not traded into the equilibrium. Chances that we are going to do that is pretty high. And now basically what we have just talked about is also repeating itself. This candle has a very low wick. Now keep in mind we're on the daily time frame, so that is going to happen way more often than on the daily time frame. The sort of tolerance of having a no wick candle or a small candle is going to be higher and more likely than on the daily time frame. On the daily time frames, I'm talking about pip wise. Okay, pip wise, there's going to be more movement on the daily time frame, of course, because it has 24 1-hour candles, logically, right? But all in all, just imagine we would have taken this position as it is right now. This will be how it's looking like. Don't get me wrong, this looking like this is not something bad on its own. But it's bad when the trade was just not high probability to begin with, or I'm also taking high risk trades, but they're at least in a certain amount of threshold of where I'm willing to risk it, right? Today there was just no threshold. Okay? Like views wise and also numbers wise, this was not so well of a stream, but I think the education and also the value, this was the best stream so far. Where the other streams, they were also, in my opinion at least, I am giving away a lot of value here. Like I am live trading with you after all. But this one is like very good. Might even cut this whole stream in like a video and just, you know, upload it as a separate video. I think it's a very good one. So alright guys, anybody that's watching the stream right now, I am going to end it. Last couple of questions in case there's anybody asking. If you're going to leave the stream and you have a couple of questions, go watch the video that I've done on that. The latest video is going to explain it in very simple matters and just diving deeper. It's also more structured. This is a live stream. You know, I'm going from pair to pair explaining everything. But this video is like a very structured video. It's going to give you it's easier to digest in that sense, okay? I'm going to do the push-ups. Meanwhile, yeah, I don't know. You just do whatever you would like to do, guys. You can already leave, watch the video. Oh yeah. So 7 likes equals to 35. So that's what we're going to do. There we go. Sometimes I really be thinking most of the people watching are just bots. Like, you guys are not even real people. I would have to do some research on that. Maybe there is actually a handful of bots just watching, and I'll be thinking, wow, we have 8 people watching. In reality, 6 of them are just bots, and maybe 2 actual people. Robo Kelly was asking, do you trade after news release if the news is on Asia session? For like specific details, I recommend just joining my mentorship, man, or maybe in a live stream, and we are going to get in that. I've already dropped like enough sauce for this entire live stream. This was, at this point, this was like a separate masterclass about like specific details. Okay, watch the new video. It is going to explain it to you. Like, actually, it is going to explain to you what I'm talking about. The new video. Okay, guy? Okay, my guy? And yeah, so we're going to end the stream right now. Thank you everybody who has been participating. Like, I don't know if the people are bots or not, but like maybe you're not bots. Thank you for participating, and yeah, see you in the next stream.